आसतलें, खंयच्या अयोध्येचें आसतलें किंवा आनी वेगवेगळे सरावट जितलो पर्यंतचो पयसो तातूंत भितर घालून तें डेवलप करतना ट्युरिजम प्लस कल्चरल जे आमी स्पिरिच्युअल जे ताका म्हणटात सेंटर आनी तातूंतल्यान रेवेन्यू कसो जनरेट करप आनी तातूंतल्यान इकॉनॉमी कशी ग्रो जातली हाजेर जर वेवस्थीतपणे जर विवेचन करून जर बजेट खंयचें मांडलें तें मांडलेलें आसा ह्या फाटल्या 10 वर्सांनी. आनी म्हणून बजेटाचेर चड उलोवपाक बाकीचे वक्ते उलयतलेच, पण बजेट हें आमच्या विचारान भितर सामान्य लोकांच्या भितर एकूच आसता. आमी आयकपाक बसतात आनी आयकतना सुद्दां कितें आयकतात, ह्या वर्सा इन्कम टॅक्साचो स्लॅब आसा तो कितलो केला हें इतलींतल्यान आमकां कळपाक जाय. म्हणजे 2 लाखाचेर सुरू जाल्ली ही 2014 2 लाख आशिल्ले इन्कम हॉलिडेज थंयच्यान ते आयज 12 लाख पर्यंत जेन्ना जाल्लें आसा त्या वेळाचेर आमी खूश जाता. जाल्यार हांव आनी म्हजी बायल मेळून 24 लाख रुपयाचेर पर्यंत नो टॅक्स हें म्हाका मेळटलें. तें जर जालें किंवा ह्या वर्सा जर आनी 1 लाख जर वाडयलो जर जालें जाल्यार हांव खूश. कित्याक लागून कारण म्हाका ह्या 5 लाखाचेर किंवा एक्स्ट्रा वाडयले ताजेर टॅक्स भरपाक पडचें ना. पण टॅक्स वाडयतना आनी लोकांक थाकाय दितना वेगवेगळ्यो गोश्टी केल्ल्यो आसा त्यो बजेटांतल्यान सकले स्तरा कडेन जर पावपाचें काम जर कोणें करपाचें आसा तें काम हे इन्फ्लुएन्सर आसतले किंवा हे मिडिया आसतले सोशल मिडिया IT आसतले ह्या सकले स्तरा पर्यंत व्हरूंक जाय जेणे करून तें आमकां फास्ट पर्यंत पावता. भारतीय जनता पार्टीचें हेंच काम आसा. अध्यक्ष ह्या नात्यान आयज तुमचे फुड्यान हें आमी जेन्ना मांडटात आनी जेन्ना नॅशनल स्पोक्सपर्सन जेन्ना हांगसर येवन आमकां फुडें तें विश्लेशण करून सांगतले तेन्ना इतलेच खातीर की आमकां तें कळचें आनी सकले स्तरा कडेन कशे तरेन वचपाक जाय ताजे पॉयंटर्स कितें कितले पर्यंत ते पर्कुलेट जातले कितले पर्यंत ताजो व्याप जातलो ह्या खातीर बजेट आसा. आनी ह्या बजेटा खातीर त्या वेळाच्यान सकले स्तराचेर करतना स्टेट लेवलाचेर माननीय मुख्यमंत्री डॉक्टर प्रमोद सावंतान प्रेस घेवन एक शब्द आयलो भितर आमकां कितें मेळ्ळें. खूब केन्नाय पत्रकार विचारता तेन्ना म्हाकाय बीन तांकां सांगूंकशें दिसता गोंयांक कितें दवरलां काय म्हणून. बजेट हें केन्नाच स्टेट स्पेसिफीक आसना. बजेट होल एंड सोल हें देशाचें बजेट आसता आनी तातूंतल्यान मागीर आमकां कितें मेळ्ळें तें आमी सोदून काडचें पडलें आसा. आमकां आतां ह्या वर्सा जें मेळिल्लें आसा तें कोकोनटाक किंवा काजू खातीर जे एक नवें इल्ड तयार करून नवी बाजारपेठ नवें ग्रो जावपाक एक जो व्यास मेळ्ळा तो 4 स्टेटीकी मेळिल्लो आसा. नॉट ओन्ली गोवा कारण कोंकण बेल्ट आसा तसो. हाजेर बारीकसाणेन अभ्यास करतना एक थोडे दीस वतात आनी त्या हातूंतल्यान भितर आमचेर ताजेर उजवाड घालपाक मुख्यमंत्री आसतले आनी त्याच बरोबर बजेट स्पेशलिस्ट जे आमचे वक्ते आसात ते आमकां फुडें पर्यंत सकयल पर्यंत दितले आनी त्या खातीर आयची ही मीट आसा. हातूंतल्यान आमी बीन ही मीट सादें म्हणजे जाहीर सभाय न्ही कारण जे कितें कोण तरी आयले आनी जाहीर सभेनी हें दिलें आमी तुमकां तें बांदलें थंय आमकां हो ब्रीज येतलो थंय व्हडलें कन्वेन्शन सेंटर येतलें थंय हें येतलें ह्यो गोश्टी सांगनासतना एकूण बजेट आनी 2014 ते 2026 ह्या येद्या व्हडल्या कालखंडान भितर भारतीय जनता पार्टीच्या माननीय नरेंद्र मोदीजी आसतले किंवा निर्मला सितारामन जी आसतले तो पर्यंत हांच्यांनी बजेट प्रेजेंट करतना देशाचें चित्र केदें व्हडलें फुडें वतलें. देश कसो आर्थीक हातूंत भितर सुबत्ता आसतली आनी त्याच बरोबर विश्वगुरू जावपाची जे आमच्या वाटचालीक भितर आमकां कसो एक वाट मेळटली हें दाखोवपाचो प्रयत्न आसा. आनी म्हणून तुमचे सगळ्यांचे हातूंत भितर आमचे आयचे हाजे कन्वेनर नरेन सावयकर हाणें स्वागत केल्लेंच आसा. पण पक्ष म्हणून आमकां अभिमान आसा की आमकां अशें एक व्यक्तिमत्व ह्या भितर लागला तांच्यांनी सखोल प्रत्येक स्तराचेर बारीकसाणेन विचार करून ह्या बजेटाची मांडावळ केल्ली आसा. ती मांडावळ आमकां सगळ्यांक इन्फ्लुएन्सर कोण आसतले CA आसतले बाकीचे आसतले ते सगळे स्तरा पर्यंत पावोवपाक मदत जातली इतलें सांगता. आनी परत एकदां ह्या बजेटाच्या निमतान देशाक आनी राष्ट्रा खातीर ज्या तरेन खूब कडेन आमी उलयतना ताजो उल्लेख जर जालो जाल्यार म्हाका आमकांय खूब बरें दिसतलें कारण आमी नाका जाल्ल्यो इट्स अ नॅरेटीव अदरवायज कारण काँग्रेसीक संवय आसा की कांयच मेळना म्हूण रडपाची संवय आसा. पण आमची दुसरी की ग्लास भरिल्लो आसा. म्हणजे पयरचे आमचे अध्यक्ष आसले नितीन नबीनजी ताणें आमकां एक मार्गदर्शनाक भितर एक वाक्य सांगिल्लें. खरें म्हणल्यार तें तशें आमी सांगनात पण तरी बरोबर बरें दिसलें तें वाटचें म्हणून आमी सांगतात की ग्लास भरिल्लो आसा अर्द उदकान तो आमी ग्लास भरिल्लो आसा हें म्हणटात. ग्लास जर अर्द भरिल्लो आसा जाल्यार काँग्रेसवाले म्हणटात तो अर्दो ग्लास रिकामो आसा कारण तांचे कडेन दिसतानाच ते पयलीं तांकां अर्दें कितें कमी आसा तें दिसपाचो प्रयत्न करता, कितें बरें आसा तें सांगपाचो प्रयत्न करना. ताचे फाटल्यान उद्देश आशिल्लो. तुमकां सगळ्यांक येवकार. देव बरें कर.
देव बरें करूं अध्यक्षी. आतां अध्यक्षान उलयतना दोन गोश्टीचो उल्लेख केलो. एक म्हणजे जेन झी आनी गोंया खातीर कितें मेळ्ळें काय म्हणून. म्हाका दिसता जेन झी खातीर फर्स्ट टायम बजेटान एडव्हेंचर स्पोर्ट्स हो मेन्शन जाला आनी खंय तरी ताका स्पेसिफीक बजेट आसा. आनी तातूंत विविध सेमी कंडक्टर, मागीर बायोफार्मा शक्ती, अशे विविध जेन झी खातीर खुबशे प्रकल्प आसा. आनी गोंया खातीर कितें जर मेळत जाल्यार म्हाका दिसता फॉरेन एसेट स्कीम, म्हणजे जे गोंयकार भायर एसेट आसता आनी गोंयांक परत येवपाक सोदता तांच्या खातीर एक अत्यंत म्हत्वाची स्कीम ही युनियन बजेटान आसा. आमचे मदीं आयचे प्रमुख वक्ते श्री गोपाळकृष्ण अगरवाल जी आसा, ते महाराष्ट्राचे आनी ही हॅज मेजर्ड इन इकॉनॉमिक्स, फायनान्स अँड बिझनस. भारतीय जनता पक्षाचे म्हणयारे म्हणजे स्पोक्सपर्सन म्हणून ते काम पळयतात. आनी तशेंच BPCL हे पेट्रोलियम कंपनीचे ते इंडिपेंडंट डायरेक्टरय आसा. भारतीय जनता पक्षाच्यो इकॉनॉमिक पॉलिसी करपाक तांचो एक म्हत्वाचो वांटो आसा. वेळार मैं अग्रवाल जी से अनुरोध करता हूँ कि ये सब मान्यवरों को संबोधित करें.
धन्यवाद सिद्धार्थ जी. मेरे साथ एक बार हम सब मिल के नारा लगाएंगे. मैं बोलूंगा भारत माता की, आप लोगों को हाथ उठा के बोलना है जय. बोलेंगे ना? भारत माता की, भारत माता की. हमने जो अभी हमारे यशस्वी अध्यक्ष गोवा भाजपा के दामू नायक जी के का भी वक्तव्य सुना. उनके नेतृत्व में जिस तरह गोवा में 2012 से जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनी, आगे चल रहे, उनके नेतृत्व में वह आगे बढ़ रही है, इसके लिए इनका बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन मैं करना चाहता हूं. और हमारे यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री डॉक्टर प्रमोद सावंत जी, पूरे विश्व पटल पे आज गोवा की एक अलग पहचान है. अभी इंडिया एनर्जी वीक यहाँ पे इतना बड़ा हुआ, और भी जिस तरह से मैं देख रहा था, अभी आ रहा था तो रास्ते में कई जगह पे कोई ना कोई लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल, कोई म्यूजिक फेस्टिवल, किसी और तरह की एक्टिविटीज, तो आज फिल्म फेस्टिवल्स वगैरह, जिस तरह विश्व पटल पे गोवा का एक तरीके से नाम हो रहा है, इनके नेतृत्व में इनका भी बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन. जो यहाँ पे कार्यक्रम के आज संयोजक हैं नरेंद्र जी, और यहाँ पर उपस्थित भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रतिनिधि, जनप्रतिनिधि, और यहाँ पे इस क्षेत्र के युवा इन्फ्लुएंसर्स और बिजनेस कम्युनिटी इंटेलेक्चुअल लोग, आप सबका बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन. देखिए, आई विल बी मिक्सिंग माय लैंग्वेज. द इशू इज, मेरे ख्याल से दामू जी ने ही हैज laid the base that why this exercise has been done by Bharatiya Janata Party. The Prime Minister said that what happened is there is a big effort is done for preparing a budget. After the economic survey, which takes almost 6 to 7 months, which details all the challenges in the economy, what are the areas it has to be focused. After that, and considering other more than 200 interactions with the finance minister and other party leaders, etc. Their compiled aspirations are taken to the finance minister, and PM, Prime Minister themselves, they make this big exercise, and this budget document is prepared. But what happened was, at most of the time, it is a 1 hour or 1.5 hour lecture of the finance minister in the parliament. Some people listen, some people are not very much interested, or they are not able to find time at that particular time. And after that time, some oppositions talk about some points which are critical to the budget, and in a day, the whole exercise dies down. Such a big exercise which impacts everyone's life, from a rickshaw puller to the business community to the India's image at the global level, is just gone out of narratives of the public after a day. So this time it was decided by the president and even on the instruction of the prime minister that a massive exercise of taking to the people the budget provisions has to take place. And I am happy that this today this program has been organized by the team Goa BJP and you have all spared your time. The second important point that I want to make is there are so many provisions in the budget. When I meet industrialists, business community people, there are so many initiatives which have taken place. This is the 11th budget that Bharatiya Janata Party has presented. And in every budget, there was a particular focus. There were big initiatives that took place in every budget. But when we talk to the people, those people who can use, who get benefited out of that budget proposals or provisions or government policies, etc. This is a policy statement of the government. It's a vision document, though it contains only an years of expenditure and revenue collection, but it has also a lot of policy statement in it. So when we talk to the people, when I meet people from business community, there were initiatives like GEM, government e-market. There were initiatives like TREATS, which gives discounting of credit to the people about their financial requirements. So many initiatives in IBC, insolvency, bankruptcy code, tax tax, virtual tax assessment, even GST. When those who people can use it, they do not have full information about it. So it's important this exercise takes place, and we also know what initiatives have taken over the last 11 years, and every budget has focused some important things. So I'll just bring some of those things to you. And even when we have talked, there were so many welfare schemes that the government over the last 11 years have taken. More than 50 lakh crores have been transferred to the welfare of the people. More than 25 crore people have been pulled out of extreme poverty in last 3-4 years. But when I meet common man, those people who need welfare schemes, many times they do not know the schemes that the government are taking place. And as a political worker or socially oriented people, we have to see that people around us also get benefited and linked to the schemes of the government. So this is a very important exercise. This is taking place. And with this background, I like to state some of the important provisions that the whole vision document that has been presented in this budget. It is a vision document. It is a document for the Viksit Bharat. As I said, though it has expenditure and revenue figures for a year, but this is the first budget of the second quarter of this century, where Prime Minister has said that by 2047, we will have a Viksit Bharat, the Bharat which is economically powerful, which can lead at the global platforms, which can lead the global south, which can give leadership to the African countries. And at international platforms, it has strong presence where its voice is heard. For that, Viksit Bharat concept, a Vishwaguru concept, we need that the India should become an economic power. Without India becoming an economic power, we cannot attain this position. So this is and in this second quarter will be that 2047 will lie. Therefore, this is a very important budget, and we all should understand that. As I said that in 11 budget last, there were many initiatives. I'll just underline some of them. With those 11 budget foundation, if we understand the current budget, we will know the whole beauty of this budget. Why this will lay the foundation for Viksit Bharat is important for all of us to know. Corporate tax has been reduced to 25%. It is at globally competitive rate that we have reduced over the period corporate tax to merely 25%. Second, under the GST, when this GST was brought in 2016, the committee which had recommended the implementation of GST, it had said that at that point of time in 2016, the indirect tax was averaging around 25 to 30%. And they said once we implement GST, the revenue neutral tax under the GST will become around 15 to 15.5%. But last year RBI report said that now after the Gen Next 2.0 reforms in GST, the average indirect tax has been reduced to 10.5%. From around 28 to 30%, now average GST rate, which affects a common man's life, has been reduced to 10.5%. Then individual tax last year, there was the nil level of, when in 2014 we came to power, it was around 2.5 lakh annual income, which was taxed at nil rate. It was raised to 12 lakh. Annual income up to 12 lakh, there was no tax for an individual. Every year, infrastructure, you must be traveling around, we all travel around different places, the way roads, railways, airport, waterways, bridges, etc., the infrastructure of hospitals, everything has been created over 4 or 5 years, is because more than 11 lakh crores of annual expenditure is being done by the government in building infrastructure, in addition to welfare scheme and etc. Last, in 2-3 months back, labor code reforms were notified, big reforms. Today I was reading in a newspaper when I was coming to this place that the implementation of labor code reforms has started generating employment in tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 4 cities. So labor code reforms were implemented. Virtual assessment, I said that assessment without person going to any office, etc. He can now at least sit in his office, file his returns. There will be faceless assessment for him. How much simplification his life, a business community's life has become. And in addition, we see in 4 or 5 years, now our GDP growth rate is averaging around 7%. We are the highest, our GDP growth rate is among the highest countries in large economies in the world. And it is on a sustainable basis. It is not that 1 year we see suddenly a rise of GDP growth, but it is sustaining, and it is expected. International institutions, etc., are saying that India's GDP growth rate will sustain over around 8%. So it is consistent and sustainable GDP growth rate that we are seeing. Digital India is a flagship scheme. Every panchayat has been connected with internet. We are the leader in 5G. Today only Geo World, Larry from this BlackRock said 2 days back that 5G leadership, India has shown is leading the 5G in a revolution in the world. So digital India, digital public infrastructure, the use of technology in implementing the government schemes, direct benefit transfer, GEMS, etc., has created a big revolution in how social welfare schemes benefit reach to the common man. Then banking sector, IBC, as I said, insolvency, bankruptcy code. Before 2014, the whole banking sector was bogged down by NPAs, non-performing assets. Their capitalization was bad. They were not able to lend any money because of high NPA, non-performing assets, bad debts, etc., and their capitalization was low. Government capitalized the banks heavily. Now our banks are performing very well. They are in the global league. SBI, etc., Bank of Baroda, SBI are leading at the global level. And startup ecosystem. This month only Prime Minister had a young leadership dialogue in Delhi. All the startup ecosystem, young people had come there. We had only 30-40 startups before 2014. Now only in space sector, more than 300 startup ecosystems are working. India is leading space technology. More than 1,70,000 startups are there in various sectors, financial sector, other sector, etc., at present registered under the government, which are operational. 1,70,000 because of Startup India, because of Atal Tinkering Lab, and support of the government. So this and public sector undertaking, if those who are associated with financial market or capital market will understand that before the public sector undertakings were considered to be a lag to the government. They were considered that they are the institutions which should be sold off. And over the last 11 years, if you see, not only they are strong public sector undertaking, but they are, last year they contributed 4 lakh crores of dividend to the government. Their share prices, their market capitalization have increased multiple fold. So I tell you that in last 11 years, big economic growth foundations have been laid out in this every sector, and now this budget was presented to sustain that growth, to lay the foundation for the Viksit Bharat. And we also should understand and know that when this US trade deal was signed 2 days back, it is the 38th country with which free trade agreement has been signed by India. Before this, we signed free trade agreement with European Union. 27 countries are part of European Union. We have free trade agreement with Australia, New Zealand, Mauritius, UAE, Oman, and US and European countries. All these countries together have given us access in free trade agreement. Bilateral trade agreements happen, some concessions we have given, but it has helped integration of our manufacturing sector to regional and global supply chain. It has given access to our agriculture sector, marine sector, fisheries sectors, and textile sector, etc., access to global market. Those countries which are developed countries, which are ahead of our countries, our manufacturing sector has been integrated out of to those almost 38 countries across the world. So and what happens is when this particular budget, as I said that earlier budget, there were certain issues at every budget, some focus area. In this budget, the focus area was manufacturing sector, strengthening our MSME sector. Why? Because merely signing of free trade agreement will not help our manufacturing sector, business community, or MSME sector, industries, or business community, etc., to take benefit of this free trade agreement unless they have an ecosystem of supply chain, supply of raw material, supply of finished goods, supply of intermediary products, supply of credit to them, all this, low cost of compliances, etc. So to that focus, this budget was implemented. I also want to tell that when we are talking about economy or the budget, we know that there are certain challenges. Those who cannot understand and acknowledge challenges, they cannot come for a resolution. The first step in resolving any problem is understand the problem and acknowledge. So I will also underline what were the challenges that was underlined by our economic survey is the document which underlines the challenges. The challenges at present was employment. That we need to create more employment, self-employment, entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship, etc., employment to the youth, business industries, etc. So this will come through manufacturing. It was said that the missing manufacturing link, we were earlier in the India as a whole, lot of our population was engaged in agriculture sector. More than 57% of our population was engaged in agriculture sector. We shifted to, we had a good growth in services sector, but the manufacturing sector was missed. The growth which should have taken place in the manufacturing sector in the last 78 years of our independence, that missing link was identified, and therefore I said that the focus this year was for manufacturing sector. taking benefit of the free trade agreement, taking benefit of the foundation that was laid in last 11 years. And this was an identified challenge that we should go all out for manufacturing sector, particularly MSME sector. In addition to, they said that when the government goes for a big investment into infrastructure, welfare sectors, development of infrastructure, but the fiscal maths, अगर हम घर में भी काम करते हैं तो जो हमारा रेवेन्यू है और जो हमारे खर्चे हैं उनको तो मैच करेंगे, लेकिन अगर हमारे खर्चे ज़्यादा हो जाएं और रेवेन्यू अगर ठीक नहीं है तो क्या हमारा बजट कहीं भी ठीक हो सकता है? ना बिजनेस में हो सकता है, ना घर पे हो सकता है. तो फिस्कल कंसोलिडेशन was also an important step that was identified, that the government should continue to invest heavily into infrastructure. That was the need of our, and we have reduced the corporate tax, we have increased expenditure in social welfare, we have increased expenditure in infrastructure. That should continue. But we should also focus on that we have a fiscal consolidation roadmap. This was another thing. And another challenge was, though CapEx, public sector undertaking was investing heavily, they were taking new projects, almost they are matching the government in their investment. More than 10 lakh crores is annual expenditure that all the public sector undertakings are doing over several years for coming out with new projects, etc. So private sector investment is also to be channelized. So these were the challenges. These were identified by the our economic survey, and on that basis, this budget lays down certain important roadmap that is very important to understand if we want to benefit from the economic growth of the country. Our individual objective of good life, creating wealth for ourselves, if it is linked with the where the government investments are there, where the government focus is there, where the government initiative is taking place, how the geopolitical situations across globe are arising. In that situation, if we understand that and if we work on that, then only we will create wealth for ourselves, our state, our family, and our country. So the finance minister, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, has laid down 3, which she called as a basic kartavya of this budget. And they were accelerated and sustained growth. We are not sitting on our laurels. अगर हमने, we have achieved a 7% GDP growth rate, we want to go to around 10% of GDP growth rate. So we have to accelerate the economic activity in the country and also sustain all the macroeconomic parameters which are very strong in the country at present. Inflation is low, GDP is growing, our fiscal deficit is in a controlled level, 4.4% of our GDP, and other macroeconomic parameters are very strong. They have to be sustained. So first kartavya that was decided was accelerated and sustained growth. And second, if everything takes place, but the aspirations of the people are not incorporated into that document, it will just become a paper document. If the people aspirations, their requirements are not considered and fulfilled, so it will not be beneficial for the common man. The second kartavya was fulfill aspirations of the people. And the third is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. This is the basic philosophy that we are working around. And for that, it was said that the threefold approach will be taken. In this budget, threefold approach has been decided. One is Reform Express. Prime Minister said that we have done, I have said so many, underlined so many reforms, but we have to further accelerate our reform. And we will not stop, we will continue to do more reform. Reform, perform, transform is the basic formula, and he has said express reforms. The express reforms and robust financial sector. Unless our financial sector, capital market, banking sector, institutions, various institutions, all those are not strong, our economy's backbone requirement will not be fulfilled, and initiative